hot, streamy summer. Get it? Streamy? Get the joke?
I get it.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I know.
okay.
I was,
Okay.
Behind the hot.
Good evening, and for some of our backers, good morning. This is the first weekly wrap-up for the hot, streamy summer. This is going to be a short one, mainly because we have a lot more to talk about after the break. Obviously, the break coming up for some of us in July, like Monday. So, I assume everyone by now can hear me? Excellent. So, look, let's focus on what's most important, which is obviously rehabilitation. We've made a lot of progress. I actually have a cheat sheet for the first time, or maybe the first time, to cover, all the things that have happened with rehabilitation since the ancient, user stories of last week. In other words, we've made a lot of progress. So, the big thing is, if you want to look at numbers, and by the way, we're not going to do a big update today. Frankly, this is enough, and we'll do one a week from Monday, since I will be out next week, and some of the other folks will be out next week. Instead of trying to put something together on Friday, we'll do one a week from Monday, which will have all the user story updates and the usual doses of art and humor and whatever else we want to put in. So, key thing, 81 changes across 6 folks, as Tyler said. Folks, right there. Can you zoom in? Folks. We have actually 8 folks. 6 folks. Not quite sure what he was thinking. Probably cards. But hey, cards, folks, same thing. 81 changes. So many, some really interesting, which is what I'm going to touch on now. One of the things that we have now that we always wanted to have that we didn't have at the time was the ability of doing things in tandem. What that means is not 2 people doing things together, because that's another thing we are working on, but just hey, my left hand is doing something and my right hand is doing something. And so we didn't have that before, we have that now. The skill timing is back. So in the weeks before build, everything was baked in terms of the timing for the skills. Now it is not. Same with the ability builder. In the last version that the IT test saw, same thing, stuff was hard-coded, no longer hard-coded. So as you can see, all the pieces that we need, some of the pieces that we need, because certainly they're not all in, some of the pieces that we need in order to get the ability system ready for you folks, making a lot of progress on. Let's see. Well, here's a big one. So up to now, we have been hard coding abilities. You guys who've been in the alpha, whether you're alpha testers, beta 1, or IT folks, have seen the abilities go from basic ability with a bunch of components to what we showed last time. Right now, we've actually got 12 beta abilities in the game. Again, these are 12 abilities of the classes that you folks will be testing over the coming weeks. Now, they're not all in, obviously. It's only 12. And nor is every part of the ability in, such as the animation system is still not done. And it wasn't supposed to be done yet, so don't worry about that. But the 12 abilities from the game, from the beta 1 portion of the game, are in and they are working. What else? Islands. One of the things that we had to do, and we've been talking about doing, is having, of course, multiple islands, transit between the islands, larger islands, islands that could hold all sorts of houses. We are making progress on that as well. Let's see. That's a good one. So rendering time, frame rate, FPS, all that sort of stuff. One of the things that the team has been working on, or actually Dave has been working on, is improving the shadows, use of shadows, the rendering system, all the draw calls we used to make in order to actually have shadows in the game. Dave has cut them down, he says, from 400 to 500 per frame to 30 to 80. Kind of a big improvement there. So that's going to help, especially on those folks with older machines. Let's see, next. Oh, RoboDuck. So RoboDuck was called RoboCop, but since we're going to be talking about it a lot, we decided, you know what, probably don't want to get into an issue with certain IP holders if we end up using the term. So we have RoboDuck. What is RoboDuck? RoboDuck is a cool program, a bit of tech that Bull wrote for us, that finds and fixes, or finds, identifies, and points out to the programming team and to the art team that there are certain issues in the game. Issues with broken assets, issues that, frankly, we need to fix, even if they don't seem to have any impact on the game. So that's in, and Bull said that, 400? Yeah, 400 potential and existing bugs. And again, these aren't code bugs, these aren't, oh my god, look at how bad the code is. It's not. It's broken assets. Things, for example, in a game like Dark Age of Camelot, would have been like broken quests, or a quest train where one of the quests in that train kind of went off the rails. So that sort of thing. So a very productive update from the programming side, especially considering that it's only been a week since the user story update. And there's more, but those are the big parts. Our team, made a lot of progress on the new forest biome. So you folks will be seeing that. You've seen some of the concept art from that. We continue to work on weapons and shields and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, more concept art was, you saw more concept art last week. John has been bringing that into, the physical world with modeling. So we're making great progress there. One of the interesting things that we've been working on is procedural material generation. So that's kind of cool. What that means is, if you think about the procedural generation tech that we have for the game, you've seen it with the islands, you've seen it with the areas that Ben has been building. It's the same thing, except it applies to textures and for the materials that we use in Cube, and we use, in other things, potentially in other things as well. So that's kind of cool to have. Second pass on concept design of the player inventory, and boy, what else? Just from design, one of the things that Ben and the team and I were talking about a little bit today was just, given how far we've already come with the rehabilitation system, Ben is actually now taking some additional time to add some skills, some abilities that we couldn't have had in the last system. So while we're waiting for other bits of the code to be built, Ben is adding and changing some existing skills that he had planned on, because now we do have that additional flexibility. So that's kind of cool. And that's the sort of stuff that's going to happen over the next 2 months. As more functionality is added to the ability system, as we look at being able to do the things that we couldn't do under any circumstances a few months ago, we're going to make changes to the current ability set of the classes to give you more flexibility, to take advantage of this extra time to do things that, frankly, we weren't going to be able to do in Beta 1. And that's one of the Beta 1 of a few months ago. And frankly, that's a big win for you folks. And it's a win for us as well. We don't have to be as constrained as we were before based on the older system. Something as simple as, if we want a Bane and Boon that would be more intriguing, more interesting than we had before, we could always do it, but it would take more programming time. Now, if it's based on anything we can use in the ability system, it's a matter of just, a few seconds, according to the programmers, of work. And that's really cool. That will allow us to do with the Banes and Boons what I originally wanted us to do with the Banes and Boons. So that also is a nice win for you folks when we get into Beta 1. So, that's about it for the update. I'm going to have a Q&A for a little bit as soon as I finish. Won't be a long one, guys. Obviously, it's the July 4th holiday on Monday. It's Friday, a long week, so this won't be an hour Q&A. But I'll certainly be happy to stay and talk for a little bit. Best thing is, we're making progress, lots of progress. The rehabilitation, you don't want to say it couldn't be going better, because it can always, go better. No matter how good of a day you had, there's always a better day that you could have had. But it's going really well. The progress we're making is great. We're pushing versions right and left, sometimes pushing them and they break, but pushing nonetheless. And again, all is good. So I think that's it, and I'll take some questions.
Alrighty. I just want you to know you're getting kind of a J.J. Abrams style lighting effect from the
Really?
lights on the tree right now.
Oh, cool.
As soon as you said the words Q&A, Odilvik asked, how goes the new crafting dock? Will we see it before or after the launch of Beta 1?
Okay, remind me about this again when I get back from break, and I will try. I will absolutely try to get it to you folks, certainly before the end of July. It's just, honestly, something that I wanted to do another few days of work on before I put it out there, and I just haven't. And that's on me, but I will certainly try to get it to you, at least certainly for the forums.
Captain Stacy asks, how is the target function? I think he means targeting.
Fine. We haven't really talked about that as a problem issue, so I'm not quite sure of the question.
Okay, Grumpy043 asks, are there any BSC ideas that you feel particularly good about at this early stage of the game?
Oh, that's great. That's a great question. Yeah, I think the ability crafting system. I think this is, whether it reaches the full scope that I initially envisioned, which means a ton of flexibility with components, a ton of flexibility with body parts, whatever the final version is. And honestly, I don't know what the final version is. I don't know. Certainly nobody here knows, and you folks don't know yet. Because one of the things we've said from the beginning is that when it comes to the BSC ideas, those are things that are part of the vision for the game. But not vision with a capital V or all in caps, meaning that it can't be touched, it can't be changed, it can't be either increased or decreased in scope based on how it works out. And that's one of the really important things, and something that applies really to every discipline here at the studio, that just because there was an idea for something, it doesn't mean whether I wrote it or whether Andrew wrote it or whether it came from Tyler or Scott or anyone else, that it can remain unchanged. So I think in terms of the ability system, whether we end up keeping it as, I don't want to say complicated, because it actually isn't all that complicated, but it is complex. Whether it ends up being everything I hoped is really not important. What is important is that it's fun and that it is challenging, and it gives you folks the sort of ability to think both strategically and tactically during combat. And that, I think, is going to absolutely be one of the hallmarks of this game. And I think that even if we end up toning some of it down, and before anyone says, oh my God, they're thinking of toning it down, we're not. But this is something I've been saying on the forums when the subject has come up. All of this is subject to change, because at the end of the day, if it isn't fun and it is not rewarding and all it is division with a capital V. That's really bad. That's bad leadership on my part. That's bad design on Ben and my part, and that's just not going to happen.
All right. Gamer Shoy asks, when will the crafting class be playable? This upcoming beta, beta 2?
Sometime during beta 1. And keep in mind that the the class itself isn't as important as the crafting. So whether for the beginning it's part of everybody is not an issue. Frankly, the more people we can have beating on the various parts of the crafting system, the better. The same with the abilities that we've got in the game right now. I want everyone to be able to use them. You know, we don't want to break them down and say, okay, only this class can use them now, and we're only, because we're at this point in beta 1, then your class only has that much. No, we want you guys to beat on them, to use all the different abilities, to use the different combinations, because that's the only way we're going to find out, you know, if it works. So it's the same with crafting. I want our people, whether you're a crafter or not, right now to have access to everything, because that's the best way to test it at this stage for an old school beta.
Dion the Gray asks, will we get beta sooner with just the rudimentary basics of the abilities? Or does it make more sense to go for a bigger skill set with a slightly later beta?
Well, we're certainly going for the same skill set with potential, you know, some potential changes based on, you know, what we were discussing today. But we're certainly going for the same basic skill set that we originally intended. Holding up beta longer to throw in more skills doesn't make a lot of sense for us, and rushing it out a couple of weeks earlier with a smaller set also doesn't make sense, unless, and here's the caveat there, unless we felt that we could gain something by testing a smaller subset ahead of time. But frankly, since the alpha and beta 1 guys all have access already to various tests, then we would just call it, you know, an alpha test and give our alpha and beta and IT guys, of course, access to it and be done with it, and not try to phony it up by saying, hey, it's beta 1, even though we cut out a bunch of stuff that should have been in beta 1.
Forced Chaos asks, what relaxing fun things do you have planned for your vacation next week?
Well, okay, so this is a combination of me being good, and then on the other hand, me being bad. So me being good, decided that because my son was 21 and was saying, hey, let's go on a cruise because now I'm 21, in other words, so we could drink on the boat and not just sit around with mom and dad passing him drinks because he's 20 and a half. I thought, hey, that's great. Let's do a cruise. We've been on a lot, love cruising. Plus I can unplug. So that's good. And Lady J loves when I do that because I take my phone, I stick it in the safe, and I don't open it. Me being bad. So between the things I've been doing with writing and some coding, which I've talked about on the forums, so if you haven't been to the forums and you're interested in some kind of old school stuff, go check out a thread that I started a few weeks ago. I'm actually being bad and bringing the laptop. I have never brought the laptop with me, and Jan's a little angry that I'm going to do it. But if nothing else, I will probably do some writing. As you folks know, I've been working on a number of graphic novels, 4 at the same time right now, and I do think that it might be quite fun for me to be sitting on the boat and sitting, you know, especially at night outside, whether it's on the deck or on a balcony, and doing some writing, hopefully while the moon is out. There is something kind of cool, romantic, and I think it'll be good for me. So, other than that, I plan on getting a lot of relaxation in, hitting a couple islands, and just getting to do what I love doing, which is spending time with my family, and yeah, that's really it. Relaxation is good, and unplugging for me is necessary. It's been boy, I don't remember the last vacation I went on where I unplugged. And this one I am definitely, even if I'm taking the laptop, I am, oh my God, unplugging. So you won't be hearing from me during this week. Unless, because frankly, if I do, I think at that point Lady J will be really pissed at me.
Spike Druid asks,
Hi, Spike.
while we are asking for documents, how about stat info? Still thinking race and even gender differences?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that hasn't changed. I mean, look, one of the things about, certainly, and go back to our Kickstarter, where I've talked about, obviously, choices matter. And when it came to, racial and gender-based differences, we certainly took a little bit of heat, a lot of controversy from some people going, oh my God, how can you do that? It's going to be bad, it's unbalanced, it's not fair, it's blah, 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 blah. No, that hasn't changed. I think having differences, whether it's realm-based, race-based, gender-based, are important. Not crucial to the game, certainly, but important from a role-playing standpoint, from a choices matter standpoint. And so, no, nothing has changed at all with that. And frankly, if it did, I'd have to tell you folks, since that was something, we talked about during the Kickstarter.
Odilvik asks, do you have any more BSC ideas up your sleeve for post-launch?
Yes. I'm sure you knew the answer to that before you even asked it. Sure. There's a whole bunch of stuff, and not just me. We've got a whole bunch of creative folks here, and there's a lot of stuff we'd love to do. But frankly, at this point, I can't, in all honesty, if I was going to sit here and pitch BSC ideas now, when we're certainly late for Beta 1, if I were a backer, I would demand my money back. Because that's BS. I mean, I like BSC, but not BS. Oh, I got to remember that. That's good. Because that would be BS. That would be, hey, look, guys, bright, shiny. Look, look, look. Don't forget about Beta. Oh, did I screw up the camera?
No, 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Look at that. Ignore that. Look at that. No, that would be nonsense. And we're certainly not going to do that under any circumstances. It's just pointless. And wrong, frankly.
Well, folks, it's 6:25 here. If you have some final excellent questions that you've been saving, now would be a good time to start figuring those out. Paladin Brewer asks, in case there's any new information, is there any new information at all on guild structure, interface, and options? Any ideas or thoughts you can share?
That's going to be coming out over the next few weeks. JB has been working very hard on that. He did a lot of the initial heavy lifting, including on some of the concepts and design for it, which is just the sort of thing that we like to do here and like to do at the certainly Mythic during the old days, which is get as much feedback, see leadership of people on the team. And JB, like JB always does, isn't afraid to not only voice his opinions, but take a leadership role. And I love when that happens. I loved it back at Old Mythic. I love it here just as much. So yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot more of guild and grouping and all that as we move forward. And forward meaning the next couple weeks.
Willowblades asks, will we see the morph system in Cube anytime soon?
That's the plan.
Well, folks, if you have any last questions, hit us up. This is your chance.
It's only for a week.
For at least a week. Mr. Potato asks, do you really think going on a vacation is more important than making an MMO for me to play? MJ, please, I am so bored right now.
Honestly, if I thought that me being here this week would make a significant difference to whether beta would come out in 2 weeks or 6 weeks or 16 weeks, I wouldn't do it. Because frankly, I'm certainly not at the breaking point where if I don't have a vacation, somebody dies. But yeah, I think it's something that I didn't frankly do enough at Mythic, and not that I'm doing it all that much here, but this is something that frankly, again, I need, and the timing is actually quite good, because at this point, with what's going on with rehabilitation, with what's going on in other aspects of the studio, I couldn't pick a better time to leave. It is a very good time for me to go. And so, sorry. Again, I wish I could say, because that'd be great for my ego, oh my God, you're right, I should absolutely stay because that could make a huge difference. Not going to make a huge difference this week. So, and besides, we're already off Monday, which is one of the reasons I picked it. That way I'm only taking 4 days off.
Andrew says, no vacation for me or Mark, though, with a C. Mark with a C says, what? That's about it. We've got Odilvik. Is the plan still to have Magic users memorize spells for use later in the play session?
Oh, yeah. That's still part. Again, we haven't... When you look at the things we said during our Kickstarter, we said after the Kickstarter, we said well after the Kickstarter, we can't really point to a lot and go, yeah, that's changed. So the things that we've said, whether they are the ability system or the islands or crafting, we're kind of sticking with the plan. So whether it is memorization, whether it is the sort of, again, choices that you have to make as a player, you still got to make them. We ain't dumbing down the game to rush out beta. We aren't making technical sacrifices in order to rush out the beta. We certainly could have, especially with the rehab. We could have taken some shortcuts, but we're not taking any shortcuts. If you look at the sheer number of people we're putting on this, including Andrew and Mark, in order to really have an ability system that is everything it needs to be, that is something that we are absolutely committed to doing. We are spending that time, we are spending that money, we are spending the effort of some of our best on the programming side to give you guys what you've been waiting for. And, rushing something out, cutting corners to, to rush beta would certainly be the worst possible decision. And, look, we pay a price. We pay a price in refunds. We pay a price in, some of the chatter. Frankly, all right, that's a price that we're willing to pay. In the end, it's going to work out really well. When you see what we can already do with the ability system, and as I've talked about in frankly the intro this morning to the hot streamy summer, you're going to see a lot more in the coming weeks from both the programming side and the design side about how flexible this system is, and how, again, we are doing things today we couldn't have done a couple months ago, even thought about doing. And that is so important to the long-term future of the game. You don't want us to have to do this again. You don't want us to have to say, yeah, you know what, guys, we cut corners because we wanted to rush out the beta. We cut corners because we wanted to make more money. We cut corners so we could have a telethon and show you what we can do. even though we might not really be doing it. We're taking the time to get it right, and a couple of months from now, and hopefully well before then, you guys and gals are going to look at it and go, all right, that was worth it. That'll do, pig. And that'll be a very happy day for me and for the rest of the team. And especially all the guys who are working on the ability system right now.
Seems like a good way to close it down.
Okay, so yeah, as always, we thank you for your support. We thank you for your patience. Next week we have some fun streaming sessions. I wouldn't be surprised if some other pop-up sessions happen as well. You may notice that we don't have as much cameras always on time as we've done during our last session, and we want to replace that instead with, frankly, more meaningful, useful, informative sessions when the team thinks it's a good time to talk. And one of the most important things about that, they are not going to be scripted. We don't do a lot of those kind of videos. You folks have seen so many updates from us. You've seen so many streaming sessions from us. If we aren't setting a record for the number of hours that a game can stream, I would be surprised, or a developer streams, I'd be surprised. And I mean streaming in the useful way. And we're going to do that again, and we're going to keep doing it. And I think that as we add more of those kind of sessions, you folks will enjoy those more, because they are what we are doing. They are what we are saying. It isn't us reading from a script, which frankly is dumb and wastes time. It isn't us prepping for them. We'll just decide to flip the camera and the audio on, and we will talk, and you guys will be a part of it. So that, I think, is going to work out really well, and I think you folks will enjoy it a lot. So with that, again, thank you, as always, and I'll see you folks in a week. Well, in a week and a couple of days. So for those in the United States, happy July 4th. Enjoy it. For those in other countries who might still be mad at us because of what happened, I'm sorry. But try to, celebrate with us. And for everyone else, I hope you have a great weekend and a great upcoming week. And that's it for now.